over the number 4 car for Kevin Harvick next season at Stewart-Haas Racing. The 32-year-old Tennessee native spent the last couple seasons in the Xfinity Series driving for Junior Motorsports. Now, Barry has 10 career Cup starts, 8 this season, filling in the 9 and the 48 cars with Hendrick Motorsports. He's recorded 3 top 10s and a best finish of 2nd. Rodney Childers will serve as his crew chief, who won 37 races and a championship with Kevin Harvick. More Daily Fuel. Noah Gragson has been cleared to return to racing this weekend. The driver of the 42 car for Legacy Motor Club missed last race at Sonoma due to concussion-like symptoms stemming from a crash June 4th at St. Louis. And speaking of crew chief changes, there was a shakeup at SHR. Richard Boswell, who had been atop the pit box for Riley Herbst in the Xfinity Series, will now serve as the crew chief for Chase Briscoe and the number 14 team. Briscoe's former crew chief, Johnny Klossmeyer, remains with the organization but transitions to their vehicle performance group. Davin Restivo, lead engineer for the 10 car, will become Herbst's new crew chief with the 98 team in the Xfinity Series. But back to Josh Berry and the news of the day. First of all, your overall thoughts on this huge opportunity for him in the 4 car.
Yeah, I think everybody that's been around the sport has seen Josh rumored to the 4 car for a while, and we didn't know if it was going to come true. But today it's official. I think Tony Stewart said it perfectly when he met with everybody at SHR today on the shop floor. He said it was an easy choice. He said, we're looking for guys that come in and have the grit and the attitude of Stewart-Haas Racing. And we've seen that from the top down. Kevin Harvick, Tony Stewart, Chase Briscoe, these guys that Tony wants to put in the race cars, they work their way up. It doesn't matter if they're 40 years old, if they're 20 years old. He wants to put people in race cars that have earned the right to get there. And Josh Berry has done that. And he really sets the example. SHR, from the top down, that's the type of guy that we're looking for.
Yeah, and you think about Josh Berry, and it's not an overnight success either. I mean, he's been around for a while. He raced for Junior Motorsports since he was in his 20s, raced late models and Cars Tour and, did it all, and then he goes there and gets a chance in the Xfinity Series, wins in that, and really just very progressive on, hey, he's able to get it done. So when you're looking at him and talking about him, you can say, this is a guy that's he's going to be the next guy. Will he have that opportunity? So, and for what Tony said today was, put their eggs basically in one basket, try to get him. So obviously from the first of the year, the talks with him and his group to get him over there in that 4 car, knowing Kevin's leaving. And then I think about him and Rodney Childers. There's probably not a better scenario for Josh to get in a vehicle with a guy, the crew chief, that knows him a little bit, knows late model racing, kind of on that same level, level-headed. And, so yeah, a great combination. And what a great opportunity for Josh to get in a top-tier team right away for his first full-time effort.
Yeah, and with that, it's never easy to take over for a legend. So what type of pressure is he facing to take over the 4 car, and do you believe he's ready?
Yeah, I think that he is a little more mature, being 32 years old, like we have talked about. I think that maturity level kind of sets him up. Let's not forget, on Saturday, he's racing Xfinity Series, which seems like a lower level. He's racing for Dale Jr., right? And he raced for Dale Jr. in late models before that. So he's been around some of the hype, and the most hype in the sport. Now racing for Tony Stewart, taking over for Kevin Harvick. I think that maturity level and being able to fill in for Chase Elliott and Alex Bowman at Hendrick Motorsports. He's gone from debriefs over Xfinity cars to sitting across from Jeff Gordon and Mr. H talking about race cars, thinking, so that's probably prepared him. Being a little older, all of these things have kind of set up to where Josh Berry, I think, and our company thinks is ready for the next step.
Yeah, and you think about Josh, and obviously what you just said, I mean, the comfort level that he's already gone through. He had to be comfortable with getting in a car, getting a Cup car on Sunday, pretty much at moment's notice when Chase got hurt. Been able to do that and go out there and perform.
Yeah.
Confidence level's got to be high going into it. He's getting in Kevin Harvick's car, but Kevin's not going to be there, but he can kind of help him.
That's right.
But yet you've got 4 teams there that are all striving to get better each weekend and week out, and big shoes to fill in Harvick's car. but it's really going to be his car, and what he makes out of it. And there's no doubt that he'll be able to go out there and perform. A lot of things are good for him right now. And I think one thing you said about was age, maturity. He's already gone through a lot of that. So exciting to see.
Yeah, and we've already seen him in a Cup car. He had 8 starts this year, obviously 2 before that. But what did you see from him in those limited starts with Hendrick this year?
We saw performance, like Bobby said. And when you look at the starts, there was a top 5 in there at Richmond where they stayed out on tires. They had a great strategy, and he performed when he was putting the pressure on. Ran really well in the All-Star Open to transfer at North Wilkesboro. When you're filling in, your number one goal is don't wreck. Mm-hmm. Don't do something stupid. Yeah. And automatically that puts you a little bit tentative. Mm-hmm. You don't want to go out there and, make a fool of yourself or hurt the team and put them behind. So you've got reins pulled on you a little bit. Now that he gets to go into a real car, I think you'll see the real Josh Berry. He'll get to be more aggressive. He'll go out and be able to do his thing. But even being reins pulled on him a little bit, he performed at a high level. He was in there mixing it up, running where we all expected him to run, and definitely wasn't a pushover or laid over on Sunday.
Yeah, very respected.
Let's talk about Stewart Haas Racing as a whole and the crew chief shakeup we saw this week. Drew, you're over there. Yep. Why the reason for the changes?
Well, I mean, if you look at our performance over the last few years, we expect to win races and win championships, and we're not doing that enough. I think, from the top down, they have talked about we have the right people. Do we have the right people in the right places? And this is an example of that. Johnny Klausmeier, one of the nicest and smartest guys we have. Like, you want him to be around. He is a great person and is extremely smart, has proven himself in this sport over and over. So if Johnny can help us help the whole organization, and Chase Briscoe has a comfort level with Richard Boswell, who he worked with in the Xfinity Series and won lots of races, let's see if that happens. So I think that's a natural move. Richard, you want to come over here? Johnny, can you help out the whole place? And then we had a young engineer on the 10 car that wanted to be a crew chief. There was an opening. Darn for me, because I lost a great guy, I was working with, but good for them, and SHR, got the right people. We've proven we can run good. How do we run great more often? And just kind of moving the pieces of the puzzle around.
Yeah, and I think of the driver, Chase Briscoe. I think that, the year, they won last year, but yet going into this year, not where they want to be, definitely not the points, not where they want to be to try to get into the playoffs. And when you think as a driver's point of view, that chemistry, sometimes that's worth more than the equipment, worth more than any speed.
That's right.
And if you can get that, you can build on it. So obviously good for him to get back. Maybe that chemistry can work again and he can get back in victory lane. But chemistry is huge. I've had it and I understand it. So.
Yeah, that's right. The guy talking to you on the other end of that radio a lot of times, just